We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
howdy.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about restarting life with a plan, because it's Friday.
It is.
And it's a little bit lighter. Topics are a little bit lighter,
Are they?
but just as informative.
This could be a very deep topic.
It will be, actually.
I
have a lot
know.
to say. I'm sure you do, too. Mm-hmm. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Grace wrote, any suggestion what website or Facebook groups I should post wholesale requests? I have a buyer who would like a waterfront lot in Travis County, Texas, near Austin and Travis Lake. Thank you for your advice. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? I'm going to try to be really gentle.
I'm not, so let's go gentle first, because I'm gonna. They're gonna go. Let's good cop, bad cop this.
Okay.
You're the good cop.
Okay. I have done this, Grace. I thought years ago when I had these buyers that were looking for property, they'd call in and I didn't have exactly what they wanted. I would take notes. Well, what kind of, and they were wholesale guys too. Well, what are you looking for? Okay, I want anything in the west part of Texas. I want anything from 10 to 20 acres. I want this kind of access, this kind of zoning. And I started to keep a list. And I thought, all right, I'm going to try to do this. And what I found out was huge waste of my time.
Biggest waste of time in any real estate career ever. I don't care if you're a real estate agent or if you're a loan officer. I don't care. I really tried, Grace. I said, okay, I would get a deal in. I go look at my list and I'd send it to the guy. This is perfect. You asked for A, B, C, D, and E, and I've got them all. Here you go. How do you want to do this? Shucks. I didn't want that much of that's a little too close to the city than I wanted. I wanted to be a little further out. I'm like, this is exactly what you said. But there was just something that it didn't work. So my point is, it was such a time killer. I have a solution. Do you want to talk about that? And then I'll give you my solution. Yeah, please keep going.
Okay. So
what I have to say on this is not pretty.
Okay. He's going to give you that.
Soften this.
I'll finish my whole thoughts on this, Grace. I'll good cop it. And then he'll come along and give you his truth. So what I found was, hey, that's great. I have all kinds of properties. This is how the conversation ended and how I saved it and what we do today. Anytime someone is in this situation, they want this thing, you know what? I get awesome properties all over the country all the time. Here's what I would suggest. And I send out an email once a month, once a whatever, with a list of the properties. If you're really serious about this, get on I'll even do it for you. What's your email? Okay, bobsmith@gmail.com. Awesome. You are now on my platinum buyers list. You will be notified when I get properties in. Scan the list. If you see something you like, give me a call. Done.
First rule in any investing scenario, it doesn't have to be real estate, just any type of investment plan, is to control an asset at a cheap price. I don't care if you're buying stock or you buy Apple stock at X and because you believe it's going to go up. So you're controlling that asset by pushing the button on your computer at a price that you believe is cheaper, and it goes up and you sell it, theoretically. If you're a person who buys and sells land like us, you want to control that asset as best you can. In our case, we pay cash for it. We completely and entirely control it, and then we go and resell it for more. So it's all about controlling assets. And there's 50 ways you can do that. And the end result of controlling an asset is to create equity for yourself. So that's it. It's 2 steps. Control the asset cheap, and then do whatever you're going to do with it. Sometimes you improve it. Sometimes you just resell it for more because you got it so cheap. When the first thing that they teach a real estate agent when they're green and pass the test in any state, if you have a good designated broker or you go through a program like Sweat Hogs, they tell you never, ever, ever work with a buyer. Only go out and get listings, spend 100% of your time with listings, let somebody else sell it. This is exactly true here. Never work with a buyer. It'll always play out with Jill. And worse, you might find one that actually works and does buy a piece of real estate, and then you're trying to repeat it. It's just not going to work. It's not scalable.
It's true. If you're running around doing this all day long, it's going to be.
So our job is to teach you how to use data to secure these assets. Just like in the stock market, you look at charts or whatever algorithms you find or whatever. I'm not plugging the stock market. I don't get involved in that at all. And so now, in Grace's case, you're just running in circles for somebody. You're not using data. It's all wrong. It's not about the real estate. It's about the schmo that wants to buy a piece of property, or at least he thinks he does, in Traverse County on the water. I can paint a picture of a little cabin that I want in Prescott, Arizona, too. I would love to call a couple of brokers and say, hey, I want these a cabin for about $30. Needs to have a little stream in the back. Needs to be built past newer than 2000. And it needs to have about 22 acres. And I want a big, long driveway. And I want the clouds to be fluffy when I go look at it the first time. And I want my favorite song to be playing when I walk in.
And Jill's whiskey on the counter.
Yep. Yeah, and Jill half dressed in a cowboy hat with a glass of whiskey and a big smile on her face.
That's funny. Call me when you find that.
Boy, that paints a picture, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually blushing.
Oh my gosh. Wow. There might be children in that vehicle right now.
Half dressed? Do you mean the top or the bottom?
Okay, let's leave that alone. Oh no. Thanks.
Hey, please don't work with buyers. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, put them on your list, and that's good. And they'll be in your email blast. Let it go.
This is all about learning how to use data to buy cheap property.
Right.
Today's topic: restarting life with a plan. This is the meat of the show.
I'm trying to think what my version of that would be.
Oh no. Yeah, I'd like to hear. I bet I could paint a picture.
Let's see.
I know what it is.
Oh man, this is really funny. Okay, I would like Steven fully dressed. In a tuxedo.
Oh really?
With a rose in his mouth.
Oh my goodness.
You think I'm kidding?
Is this real?
Yeah. I'm giving my version of this. I like fully dressed, tuxedo, rose, maybe not in your mouth. Fully dressed, tuxedo, roses, standing by a beautifully set table. This is true. With a fantastic
I'm going to do this.
Meal. My vision is a version of our master bedroom right now, because we have the killer view of the ocean, as you can see behind me. It's up the same view, but up a few floors. So the view, table set. I don't care about the music in the background. I don't need a violin or anything like that. That's stupid. I just want the doors open. I would like about 75-degree temperature and a perfect breeze coming in. A few dolphin going by like I saw this morning. And the whiskey's there, and the sun's about to set.
What's on the table? What's the food?
Oh, steak.
Steak?
I'd like a nice steak.
We should talk more, Jill.
Yeah, you know what? Because we don't eat steak that much. It's kind of a treat once in a while. We eat a lot of fish and chicken and turkey. I kind of chicken and turkeyed out right now. I think I'd like steak.
I thought you were going to say candles and a massage and all of that, but no.
Well, that'll lead to that.
Oh, this is only like the front 10%?
Oh, yeah, this is exactly.
This is the rated G front 10%.
Exactly. Thank you. Oh, now I'm sorry, there was a whole topic here. I was just having fun with my little...
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry, I'm just having a little...
Never blushed so
dream.
Much.
My mental dream sequence right there. Okay, back to the show. Restarting life with a plan. Here's what I think. A lot of people right now are thrown into this. They're not doing it on purpose. They're having to restart their lives and come up with a new game plan for obvious reasons. They didn't, my answer is, because I'm always going to be the inspirational one, I just have to go there. That's just how I go. That's how I deal with things, is I make it a positive. So what I'm saying to myself is, all right, it's not always a bad thing. Having a reset button could be a good thing. And I want you to think about, too, it's okay to go backwards, to go forwards.
Well said.
Thank you. You're not a failure.
You're saying stuff so I don't have to say it.
Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. If you and your wife and kids are now living out of your parents' basement while you're regrouping, I am sure you are not alone.
I love it.
No one's going to poo-poo you and say that you did anything wrong or
Only
bad.
Only you are.
Exactly. And I would just, the final point is, well, 2 points. Fine. We're going to regroup. We're going to come up with a new plan, which is what this show's about, and figure out a new life, how it's going to look for us going forward. And it's okay. And then my real final point is, once you decide what that new game plan is, I want you to be all in. If you're in this situation, I hope you have the time that you could spend hours, days, maybe even a few weeks, deciding what you want to do and how you want to do it and what it's going to look like and how hard everybody's going to have to pitch in, and then have a family meeting. Even if it's just a meeting with yourself, have a family meeting and be all in. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't listen to any criticism or negativity from anybody else. You know who you are. You know what you have to do and what you're capable of, and go for it. Because it is hard to be successful if you're not focused.
You're so the girl for me.
Oh, thank you.
Lose your pride. Now's the time to forget about pride. In fact, I don't know when pride is ever useful. I don't know. When's the last time anyone said, wow, that guy's really proud? Boy, that's a good thing. He's such a proud person. He got ahead because he's proud. No. Lose your pride. Check it at the door. And never get it back. If you live in a big house right now and all kinds of stuff happen to your job, and I'm speaking from personal experience on this, you got to adjust. You're going to have to maybe move into your parents' basement. The only thing that's going to get hurt there is your ego. There are more truck driving and construction jobs now than there ever have been in the history of ever. If you need to work construction or get your CDL and drive a truck, so what? Is it a pride thing? Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you get it. We have a lot of truck drivers in our group, or not a lot, but several that do this on the road. I don't know how safe that is, but it's probably actually kind of cool. So however you have to restart, whatever life threw at you, you just have to deal with it. And you got to get rid of any debt that you have. I don't care if you have to file bankruptcy, do it. So what? It's just a pride thing. What's the worst thing that happens with the bankruptcy? Aside from, a pride situation, your credit's kind of screwed up for a few years.
You're going to save up that cash for a while.
In a lot of cases, now I'm reading that it can, that doesn't have to be a few years. There's stuff that you can do that can really address that. Here's how it's supposed to start in a perfect world. You're supposed to get as much education as you possibly can as a young person from all types of sources. I don't just mean schools. I mean your parents' friends, your friends, or whatever. Get as much education as you possibly can, including college in some cases, depending on what you want to do. Then for the next few years, you need to suck your pride up. And for maybe 2 to 4 years, at least, you need to work in an internship or some type of position where you're still learning. You're just learning on the job, whatever it is. After that period, you're going to learn. This is in my book. There's going to be a moment where you're going to say, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to actually be the owner. I'm going to run this company someday. Or let's say it's Coca-Cola. There's a famous story of a person that was a CEO of Coca-Cola that started in the mailroom and became the CEO, went all the way up. So you're going to make that decision, or you're going to say, you know what? This W-2 job sucks. It's not for me. I'm going to start to branch out and look for something other to do with my life because I think I'm truly an entrepreneur at my soul. Now, while all this is happening, you're not getting married. You're not having children. You don't buy a big house. You live in a terrible, dumpy, moldy apartment with 6 other people. I don't care if you're male or female, where your rent's like $200. And the lease is in someone else's name and the utilities are in someone else's name and they're constantly getting stiffed and angry about it. You're uncomfortable.
That's good.
Do you have a sports car that you'd make a $900 payment on? Absolutely not. You drive an old Honda Civic that you're embarrassed about. If you're a cool person and you're comfortable with that, you check your pride at the door, the people of the opposite sex or whatever, however that works for you, are going to flock to you. Trust me.
Right.
I'm telling my own story here.
This is good. Yeah.
So they're not going to, no woman has ever said I go out with that guy because his car is awesome, but he's kind of an ass, but I love his car. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's somebody out there that
Holy
says
cow.
that.
Yes, I know many girls that do that.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh my gosh. One in particular, we tease her because we're like, do you find every guy with every red flag? She goes, yes, apparently I do, and I ignore them all. Like, what the heck? Yeah.
All right, so great. You're now, I don't know.
She knows that she does it.
Does it ever happen perfectly like this? No. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But this is if all the planets are aligned and you're just perfect. So you find out at the end of 4 years in this internship / lowly position that you don't want to do this, or you do. If you do, congratulations. Continue on with that path and maybe start dating a little bit more seriously. And then in your 30s or late 30s, start thinking about getting married and having kids. But you should, from that internship period, really focus on rising through the ranks before you bog yourself down with kids and a family and a spouse. At about the time you're 40, you should be the VP of something or whatever because you chose that path, and then maybe you can start family planning. The other way, which I think is for this group more popular, is after about those 4 years. Is this boring or not?
No, it's great.
After about the 4 years, you decide that the W-2 path is not what you want. You're more of an entrepreneurial spirit. By the way, you're partying like a rock star through all this. You're having so much fun. You're getting all of this stuff out of your system, having a blast. You're traveling everywhere. You're doing
cheaply.
Yes.
By the way,
you're eating ramen noodles
on a budget.
Right.
You're having fun on a budget.
And you don't have any debt. You never incur any debt through this period ever, because you don't have any pride. Because you don't care about a sports car and you don't care about a big house. You care about your career and your future family.
That's your pride. That's all it is.
Because that's where pride really, your pride comes from your performance.
That's what I think.
As a father and or a spouse, I should say. I keep genderizing this. Just as a person accomplishing stuff.
You're putting your head down with a plan that you know in the end when you come up for air, you're going to be way ahead of everybody else.
So the entrepreneurial thing kicks in. You find out that you want to be a day trader, or you want to buy and sell real estate, or you want to own apartment buildings, or whatever. However that thing comes out for you, and then you start down that path hard. So you work 80 hours a week, 40 hours, 50 hours. That's your regular job, and then the other you spend this, and then every other waking hour you're having fun, hard fun. Because that's what you're supposed to be doing in your 20s. You're still in your 20s. At some point, the whatever side gig you have, maybe you have to go 3 of them and you fail at the first 2. So what? You don't care because you don't have any pride. Mm-hmm. One of them's going to work. And there's going to become a point before you're 30, hopefully, or in your early 30s where the W-2 job no longer makes sense. You're making so much money over here or whatever you're trying to accomplish. You know what? It doesn't have to be about money. Maybe this thing on the side is being a social worker for underprivileged kids. I don't know, but whatever it is, you need to build a career on that instead. Right. So now in our case, you're making good money. You don't have a W-2 job. You're in your 30s. You're building this and building this. If you sell, let's say, land on terms, you got $20,000, $30,000 a month coming in. Maybe you can buy a new truck, reward yourself a little bit. Maybe it's not new. Maybe it's a few years old. Just somebody wrote me a heartfelt letter last year about the first time they ever bought a new truck.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I do.
It was somewhere we have it. We should read that. We get a bunch of stuff like that. We should have a whole episode where we talk about that.
Exactly.
And whoever you're dating at the time, you start to maybe get a little bit serious, or you start to say, you know what, these 3 people are in my life. I don't like any of them. I'm going to start over, and just kind of have a plan. It's at that point in your 30s where you need to start thinking about the rest of your life and having a family and children if that's what you want, or however, whatever you see that like. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's all about performance. You have to perform. The pride comes based on your performance as a father or a mother or an entrepreneur or a boss. That's where the pride comes from. It doesn't come from this other stuff. And unfortunately, when you're young,
I think it's ego. I think it's ego and then pride. Mm-hmm. It's check your ego at the door, this whole process. I love this. We both looked at this as a different way. Restarting life with a plan, you're talking about at any age. I'm talking like COVID times. I'm like, or just anytime you're let go or things happen that aren't you weren't ready for. You have to restart your life for any reason. So this is so interesting to me, but there's an overlap there. But I think ego when you're young, or even ego right now. So what? Let the ego go. There's a bigger picture here.
So the name of this episode is not Starting Life with a Plan, which is what I just described. Mm-hmm. It's called Restarting Life with a Plan. So great. You did it all backwards. You got married when you were 18 and had 4 kids. You should never be sitting around saying, well, it's over. We talk to members and
some people feel
members.
Like that.
I know.
Yeah, I can't get ahead now.
There's always
on my 3rd wife or whatever. This one, here I am, 3rd alimony or whatever.
You can always restart.
Yeah.
You don't. If you have the right personality type, you can restart with this. And there's tons of people in our group that have hordes of money, more money than sense. And they'd love to invest with you if you know how to find good real estate deals. And I'm not plugging our program at all. You can restart at any time and under just about any circumstance. Right. Probably can't do it from federal prison, but you could restart.
I bet you could.
Yeah, maybe.
I bet you could. There's a time you really do need to restart. If you're in federal prison, this is for you.
Land Academy for federal prisoners.
How to flip land behind bars.
I bet this is possible. So
sure it is. Prison, why not? This is great. We should probably end it on that. That was good. I love it. I think we got our point across.
Okay, good.
All right. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week. You can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition or any other bad ambition.
I like this. This is a whole new, that's one demographic I don't think I've seen on Facebook. Is there a...
Yeah, we should probably leave it alone, too.
Okay. Hey, everybody deserves... I was just thinking, I do this with the kids, too. I tell the kids, sometimes you get... Say you have a bad summer school experience, or you have a bad middle school experience,
or bad marriage
Let me finish my thoughts. This is not for you here now. So... especially for kids, they think that, I was a geek in middle school. I can never come back from that. I'm like, oh, no, yes, you can. I'm like, every school year I tell them, this is it. This is your chance. The summer you didn't see most of these people, you can hit that reset button and restart and be that person you want to be. Come at it. You want to have more confidence. You want to be a better student. You want to be a better athlete. Hey, let's get you in that position. Let's work together as a family. Whatever it is, we can overcome it. And you can't, when you really start thinking like that, it's, and it's part of it's a mom thing, I'm sure. I try to build them up every day. Like, you're that guy. You're that guy at breakfast. You're that guy. God, I'm so proud of you. You're that guy. And it sinks in. So now as an adult, you don't have your mom there to help you. So you have to do it for yourself. And I have to do it for me too. Like, you are that person. You got this. You can do this transaction. You can do this deal. You can own this company. You can build this empire. Whatever it is you're trying to do, just now it's all on you.
I agree.
Thank you.
You just got to not be afraid of working hard and making mistakes.
Yeah, it's part of it. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find this all valuable, and we really appreciate your support. If you haven't, please zip over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the type of content you're here for. Hitting the like button on your favorite episodes helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest in future shows.
We are Steven Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.